as promised, I'm going to do a brief introduction of the NAEYC Code of Ethical Conduct and Statement of Commitment. And so this NAEYC offers position statements on a variety of topics related to the field of early childhood education. This is one of their foundational documents that is core to the beliefs and principles in early childhood education. So there's a preamble, there are core beliefs, appreciate childhood as a unique and valuable stage of the human life cycle, base our work on knowledge of how children develop and learn, appreciate and support the bond between the child and family, recognize that children are best understood and supported in the context of family, culture, community, and society, respect the dignity, worth, and uniqueness of each individual, child, family member, and colleague, and respect the diversity in children, families, and colleagues, and recognize that children and adults achieve their full potential in the context of relationships that are based on trust and respect. You can read the conceptual framework of this document on your own time. And like was mentioned in the last presentation, there are ideals set forth in this document and then principles. And so section 1, ethical responsibility to children. And you can see all of these principles here listed. And I want you to know this principle P-1.1 is the most important principle in this entire document and to our entire profession. Above all, we shall not harm children. We shall not participate in practices that are emotionally damaging, physically harmful, disrespectful, degrading, dangerous, exploitative, or intimidating to children. This principle has precedence over all others in this code. You will be asked this probably multiple times throughout this program, and this can apply to so many different situations. Spanking, that example in the first presentation, is one of them. It is one example of how we apply P-1.1. And so there are principles and then ideals, right? So section 2 is ethical responsibility to families. There are the ideals, and then there are the principles. Section 3, ethical responsibility to colleagues. And then there are the ideals. So the ideals are the foundational parts, right? So to establish and maintain relationships of respect, trust, confidentiality, collaboration, and cooperation with coworkers. And then if we were to think about, well, what does that look like? That means we assist the program in providing the highest quality of service, right? Oh, sorry, I started reading the wrong side. We shall recognize the contribution of colleagues to our program and not participate in practices that diminish their reputation or impair their effectiveness in working with children and families. And so we can apply each of these ideals to the variety of principles. It gives us a foundation to work from, and then it tells us how to behave. Section 4, ethical responsibilities to the community. And that's the document. There is a glossary of key terms. If you need help understanding values, core values, morality, ethics, professional ethics, ethical responsibilities, and ethical dilemma, they're listed here. And we've gone over these a few times, but it's nice to have these definitions offered a few different ways. I know that I make better sense of challenging concepts when I can kind of hear it or read it in different ways so that I can make sense of it. So I'm going to ask that you read this entire document. I know it's lengthy, it's complex, but you're going to have a lot of practice with this document as you go further in this program. I know some of you are stopping here at this class, and that's okay. But for those of you that are hanging around, either for our associates in early childhood education, our ed transfer degree, or our bachelor's degree program, this document is something you will need to know and have access to as you go. So we are going to do an activity in a discussion. There will be 2 discussion boards this week. And in this activity, I'm going to spell out some ethical dilemmas and some maybe moral dilemmas, and see if you can find in this article a way to resolve the dilemma or to identify what the dilemma was. And so that will be a discussion board. I'll have all of the dilemmas listed. You can select one and then use this document to identify the ideal and the principle and what the ethical behavior in response to the dilemma would look like. All right, I'll see you all online.